Hello and welcome to the Stronger Than My Excuses show. This is our first panel today of a series, Imagine Challenging the Status Quo. We want you to think out of the box. Our topic for today is Imagine Sustainability as a Strategy. I'm Brendan Rogers, founder of the Culture of Leadership Consultancy podcast and YouTube channel. I'll be your host today, and we are filming on the beautiful Central Coast of New South Wales. I'd like to acknowledge our First Nations people, the Darkinjung people. We appreciate this and respect them, their elders, past, present and emerging. We've got a great panel lined up today, 3 in person, 1 virtually. General Manager at Green Design Indoor Plant Hire and President of the Interior Plandscape Association of Australia, New Zealand, Ray Borg. Co-founder and Head of Research, Development and Innovation at Take 3 for the Sea, Roberta Dixon-Valk. Business Advisor, Your Business Realm and Regional Director of Trusted Advisory Network, Lana Ratapu. And virtually Professor of Marketing at St. Joseph's University, Philadelphia, Dr. Diane Phillips. So welcome to the show, everybody. These shows are created to help us to have the confidence to take action and to be stronger than our excuses. Every show will wrap up with actions. So if you're on YouTube or socials, please put your comments and your key takeaway below. I want to thank all our sponsors, and logos will appear on the screens below in the recording. Today we're here to talk about sustainability business. What does that mean and how can we achieve it? And also make a profit. We hear about the acronyms CSR and ESG, and also a term, what is the triple bottom line? Today, these are the things we're going to discuss and the responsibilities business have for the people, planet, and their profits. Anyone can call their business sustainable and put a green logo on their website. But as we said, it's all about action and demonstrating what we do for sustainability. So how can we shift both in the processes, so what we're doing, and from the perspective in why we're doing it? So we're going to start with the Professor Diane Phillips, who has also recently launched a book, which is already available in Australia, and it's called Marketing Strategy and Management, which incorporates ethically minded decision making. Professor Diane, over to you. What shifts in processes and perspectives have you seen being made, or are people willing to make?
Consumers need proof, and the idea that proof and offering proof about what you're doing as far as these processes and things like that cannot be overstated. When I first started going and giving talks to different organizations, I used to have to say, hey, listen to me, I'm talking to these VP of marketing types or these CEOs, and they're all telling me that when they shift their operations to be more sustainable, they are making a lot of money. They're better able to meet the needs of their consumers. And all of these great things from a financial kind of tangible standpoint, they're doing a great job. It makes sense. Well, the good news is that I don't have to say, trust me anymore. The data is really there. And we have numbers that say that, in fact, when you shift your organization's operations to be more sustainable, you are lowering your cost. I mean, being a sustainable organization is a more efficient and more effective organization. You get to stay ahead of environmental regulations. You are more innovative. You know, when you put your goggles on, your glasses on, and you look at the world through sustainability glasses, you're able to see stuff that maybe you hadn't seen before. You're better able to meet the needs of your consumers. You're lowering your risk in terms of maybe volatile energy prices. You're better able to attract and retain talent. So the bottom line is that we don't need to make a choice anymore between doing what's right by the environment and doing what's right by the bottom line. We can do both, and we can do really well.
Thank you, Diane. Ray, we're going to go to you next. What's your view and perspective on the shift in processes and perspective?
I think that the important thing is that what was earlier said is that people are expecting change. People not only they're also demanding it, especially our current consumers. You know, your Gen Z, your Gen Y. They're not just asking for it; they're demanding it. And if they don't get it, they'll go elsewhere. I think a couple of other things that has changed recently is both privately and in business, we now want it. You can see that when we go shopping. I see people actually starting to look at the labels. In business, when you're talking to a client, they're starting to ask you questions about what are you doing with sustainability? What are you recycling? What's coming back? How are you repurposing? Are you moving to EVs? So there's lots of questions that are being asked. And also then they want the proof as well. So it's quite important there. And I think the other thing that we're all accepting is that there's a lot of products that are no longer available. If you think about it, only recently, when was the last time you were able to buy a plastic plate, a fork, a knife, or the straws? My children hate the straws, paper straws, but they realise, they realise that those plastic straws were killing off sea life. So we're accepting products today are no longer available in the form that we had to. So that change, they're the three biggest changes I see happening. From a processes perspective, I think people are also looking at their own businesses and staff are as well and asking, how do we make this better? We don't need to travel up and down from Sydney unloaded. You make sure if you're going to go down to Sydney to see something, you might go and see 3 clients rather than just seeing the one, making it effective. So they're the sort of things that we're seeing in business today.
Thank you, Ray. I can definitely relate to the to the paper straws, to say. Lana, this acronym CSR, I'd like you to share what CSR is, but what happens if businesses don't put a CSR in place?
Yeah, so corporate social responsibility, I think there's a real impact, and that's already been touched on today, and the impact is on the bottom line for a lot of businesses in terms of the impact of profitability. PwC did a study to show that, by 2025, we're going to have a workforce that's going to be around 75% millennials. What that means is that that if we don't have social policies in place that are active within organisations, then it's going to make it much harder for us to attract and retain great talent. In fact, there was a study done a couple of years ago that showed that 40% of millennials were making decisions to work with organisations that have social policies in place over those that don't. And more importantly, around 30% of those were choosing to and okay with taking less pay because organisations' values were aligned to their own personal values. So I think that what's already been mentioned is there's an impact on bottom line for companies if they don't embrace this new change.
Thanks for sharing, Lana. Roberta, what's your view on this?
So yeah, I think it's wonderful, death to the plastic straw. But I think it's imperative that businesses subscribe to and embed the principles of sustainability within their organisation. For us to achieve systemic change, in terms of sustainability, we really need everyone participating. Businesses can be retrofitted to be more sustainable, or they can be created as sustainable businesses from the ground up. And we're fortunate with Take 3 to be working with both types of organisations. The United Nations 17 Beautiful Goals are a really good starting point for direction for people in terms of sustainability. I think in terms of demonstrating sustainability, everyone really needs to be authentic. Businesses need to be genuinely working towards sustainable goals, not just the outward perception, but actually really be working towards sustainability because people see through greenwashing. And celebrate your achievements, it doesn't matter how small. Take 3 were really fortunate at the end of last year to win an Energy Globe Award, and these are under the youth category, and these are touted as the most significant sustainability awards globally. And we haven't been shy, we haven't been shrinking violets about letting everyone know that we won that award. So I think you do need to celebrate.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. I guess what I'm hearing is that consumers are definitely more conscious, far more educated, far more aware around this space, and also treat their people well. So from this perspective, and we'll start with Diane again, what are you hearing from your customers, and really how can you help them meet their sustainability goals?
So for me, I would say my customers are my students, and these are the next generation of business leaders. So it is a different kind of perspective, but you really see from their eyes what they're expecting, what they want to do when they go out there and make their way in the world. So students, the parents who are paying the tuition bills for the students, but I would also say that my customers are the businesses that hire our students. And so, they know that they're going to be stepping into a space where they're going to be expected to know about sustainability and hit the ground running, rather than being hired by a company that has to train them all about sustainability. They need to know about it quite a bit. And they do. They are demanding these kinds of issues. I have a survey here that Lana was talking about, some surveys and talent and things like that. I have another one too. This is really interesting. 70 to 80% of MBA students want more climate content in their programs. 80 to 90% think businesses should play a role in tackling climate change. And 50% of MBAs, I think, Lana, you said something about 40%, maybe that's just overall, total 40%, but at least in this particular study, 50% of MBA students are willing to take a lower salary to ensure that their values align with that of the organization that they're joining. So, like you said, customers are savvy, they have been lied to, and they're not going to put up with it anymore. Third-party certifications help a lot, I think, as well. And, to jump on, or I guess piggyback on what Roberta said as well, these 17 Sustainable Development Goals that the UN crafted and was agreed, these goals were agreed to by 193 member countries. We know that, 80% of global businesses are reporting on their progress toward particular sustainability goals in terms of the SDGs. So they're reporting on the SDGs. They're talking about their progress and tracking, and they're being transparent about that. And I think that's super important.
Thank you, Diane. It's fantastic to get an international perspective as well, so I really appreciate that. Roberta, take 3 at the C. What are you hearing from customers, and how are you guys helping meet their sustainability goals?
Yes, so we have asked our customers what they want, and they really want us to be authentic. They want us to be a really trusted and reliable source of information. And I think that we encourage simple solutions to complex problems, which is a really easy way of getting businesses engaged. Our customers genuinely want to be part of the solution to plastic pollution. They really do. That's a big motivation for them. And they're looking for ways to incorporate their learnings into doing business better. Businesses also want their customers to know that they've looked at their systems and their processes, and they're looking to put their learnings into play and make change and become more sustainable, and they want to share their sustainability commitment. We assist them in identifying their own solutions to plastic pollution and the plastic pollution crisis, and how they can be more sustainable in terms of their plastic consumptions. It's really important that businesses own their solutions.
Thank you, Roberta. Lana, you're dealing with working with is a nicer term, varied businesses. What are you hearing from them, and how do you help them meet their goals?
Thanks, Brendan. My customer base often come to me because they are wanting to shift their business, for whether it's because they've got challenges in their business or they want a desire for it to be different. So we're starting off in a different conversation about how to improve the foundations of the business first. I think, as we've alluded to already, the part of my role is to get them to understand the importance of having a CSR plan in place and how that contributes to the bottom line, how that impacts them if they don't have a strategy in place because of the impact of being able to attract new people to their business and to retain them. So part of the way that we do that is to incorporate that into their sustainability, into their strategies, into their quarterly planning, and involving their team, and then getting their and educating. In a lot of cases, their team, some are really not involved in or aware of sustainability. And I think, to your point, Roberta, education is a really important part that still needs to happen within the SME space here on the Central Coast. There is a really good uptake, but there's still a real education piece that needs to happen. We've got 24,000 or so small businesses on the coast, and the vast majority of those are small businesses, solopreneurs. So I think there's an education piece that needs to happen, and involving that in their planning process. And so, yeah, I think that's when we need to start.
Thank you, Lana. Ray, what's your take on this?
I think, as the ladies have said, people want proof. People want to be seen. Companies actually show. So a lot of our companies are not only asking us to complete their survey, but they want us actually to demonstrate what we're doing with our containers, with our plants. Our CSR program is titled 3C: community, carbon neutrality, and circular economy. And through those three different items, we're actually able to demonstrate to our customers what we're doing with our plants that come back, what we're doing and how we're reducing our carbon footprint, and also what we're contributing to our community. So proof is becoming a really big thing. What we realised last year was one of the things and the challenge that we were having was, yes, we want to reduce our carbon footprint, but we didn't know what our carbon footprint was. So I'll ask you the question, how many of you know in your businesses what your carbon footprint is today? Most of us don't. A few people put their hand up. So it's an interesting part of the journey that we realise, and we're just starting that journey. And it's quite a detailed program to go through, I can tell you that. So if anyone's going through it, it's a lot of fun to do. The other thing is the reusing bit. I think one of the biggest things that people are asking us is, what are we doing with our stuff? What's coming back? How many of the things, not only are you recycling, but can you reuse it? We've got one of the big four accounting firms that was a big client of ours, is asking us, we are decommissioning in one of their offices. They're actually asking us, what are you doing with these things? What are the plans for them? Can you reuse them? So you can start to see it's not only the very superficial questions, it's starting to get quite detailed in regarding to what are you going to do with all these products. And I think we're going to see that shift right through the whole business community.
Thank you, mate. What I'm hearing again is that action is super important, but it also sounds like you're hearing at least customers asking questions. If they know that they're not the expert in this space, they're coming to the people that know a little bit more, asking the questions. So there's a level of engagement around what can we do? How can we be more sustainable? Which is really a great starting point for taking action, isn't it? All right, we're going to go to our international guest again, Professor Diane. Diane, what are the competitors doing in the sustainability space in your area? And how can we be more sustainable without it costing more?
So I'm going to go academic on you now, okay? So there's research out there that says that there are three sources of strategic competitive advantage, three areas or foundations by which a firm can achieve a strategic competitive advantage. And one is low cost. So think about, for example, Amazon. They're a big organization. They're able to scale their operations, and they can then deliver packages at a lower cost than any other provider out there. Another source of strategic competitive advantage is customer intimacy. So with that, think, for example, Netflix. They can always sort of predict what you're going to do next. They know exactly what's going to happen in terms of your viewing patterns, what your next likely show will likely be. Also think maybe Subaru and their Share the Love campaign. So that's customer intimacy, really understanding what's on the minds of your consumers and getting in there and providing them with what they're asking for, giving them that value proposition. And then the third way that you can achieve a strategic competitive advantage is innovation. So think, for example, Apple or Google, an organization that sort of is so forward thinking that they sort of bring us to a new reality. And what I would like to see in some research that I've done myself in the world of sustainability and competition, and it's in my book too, that sustainability can also be a source of strategic competitive advantage. I mean, if you think about it, if you are sustainable, you're sort of in a way erecting a barrier to entry for other organizations because you've done the research, you've made the changes to your organization, and another entity is going to have a harder time doing that because there's so much talent and time and resources that need to go into that. If you are the first mover in sustainability, you are sort of viewed as sort of the benchmark organization. If compared to, say, the second or third mover into a particular industry and into a particular sustainability space in that industry. So if you're the second or if you're the third organization to go all sustainable, well, you're kind of the copycat. You're kind of the follower. You're not the leader. Sustainability represents a long-term focus. It represents the ability to better meet the value proposition. It helps your consumers meet their own sustainability goals. So I think, this is really an exciting time. It's not just something that we all need to do because we're going to be making money at it, because it's the right thing to do, but we're doing it from a competitive standpoint too. And to me, that's the exciting part.
Thank you again, Diane. Ray, you're involved with the CSR implementation for green design. What's your take on what people can do to implement these things without hitting the bottom line?
I think as Diane's mentioned earlier, by introducing sustainability into your business through your CSR program, in most cases it actually saves you money. And the other interesting point is it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really simple to do. So you look at the simple things. So some of the things that we looked at was and discussing is planning. We were doing lots of things that were in a sustainable space, but we didn't actually plan it. And when we started planning it, then, we are actually ticking a few of the boxes in the sustainability space. So look at your business and see what you need to do, what you are doing to start with. Involve your community. Start talking to the community, talk to your clients and see what they want, and include your staff. We had a really classic case back in the office where a lot of our containers were going to our grow pots, little nursery pots. You get the nurseries and you don't know what to do with them when you get them home. One of the guys mentioned that our supplier actually would take them back. So we got on the phone to them and said, we'll take them back. Not only did they take them back, they took them back for free. And it was saving us money because our grow pots were going into the recycle bin, which is being charged at a fee. So that simple exercise came from one of our staff. The other thing that's important if you don't look at your CSR process is that you won't attract staff. So you won't attract good staff. People don't want to work for a polluter today. So one of the things that, it's going to improve your bottom line because you'll attract the right staff, and it'll also help you attract the right clients as well because they want to work with people who are looking after the environment. And consult your supply chain. Talk to your supply chain as well and find out what they are doing in regard to their sustainability. And it's not just in regard to the agreements. What are they doing with the community? What are they doing with your carbon neutrality piece? And the last piece I think we should also do is, as managers or owners of the business, actually talk the talk. Sorry, that's the right way around. And see people, your staff seeing you as one of the employees and one of the team actually making those changes yourself.
Roberta, what actions are you seeing people take?
So every business, I think, can work towards sustainability. The only sticking point is really bad old habits and mindsets. So I think You don't have to change everything perfectly and all at the same time. You can take small steps to an end goal of sustainability or more sustainability. And so I think in terms of action ideas, creating a robust sustainability plan with clear start and end points, and then mapping how to get there and the steps that you need to take is really important, and then committing to that sustainability plan and making small bite-sized changes. You don't have to do it all at once. Things can happen incrementally. Take everyone on the journey, ensure all staff are committed and know why. Recognise and celebrate all efforts towards sustainability and focus on the circular economy and the United Nations SDGs as guiding principles. We need to fundamentally change the way we do business.
Thank you, Roberta. Lana, what are some actions you're seeing in the sustainability place that also improves profits?
Yeah, good question. I think I'm not sure I'm going to say a lot on top of what's already been said. But I think for us small businesses is to recognise, first of all, what they're already doing. Often they're already doing things, and just because it's just part of who they are as small to medium business owners is that they are contributing to the community in some way, and that they have had people in their offices where they are now recycling and starting small. I think that's really important. So first of all, recognise what's already being contributed to is being done in the organisation, and have the whole team be part of that, because it is about feeling good and it is about celebrating the impact that the company is having, and as a whole it brings the team together. And we know for a business, to have a great business, you've got to have great people around you. So get everyone involved and come up with, first of all, recognise what you're doing and come up with a plan how you can make a bigger impact and how you can contribute to community. You know, simple basic things like, you know, recycling. Is there somebody that's owning that? Have they looked at, you know, and I'm talking, you know, starting out somewhere, but it is about the small steps, and financial security of a business is important. When you understand where you're making money in your business and you focus on those things, often that will free up time to spend on your CSR aspirations and the things that are most important to people's values these days.
Yeah, once again, great point. And go back to that question about engaging and creating engagement through questions, and actually you guys as business owners also asking the questions, getting the customer view. So you're helping create solutions that people are asking for, which is fantastic. And those small steps are important. It's not what you do and how quickly you do it, it's just taking those steps to move forward. All right, lastly, this may be very difficult for our panellists because we've had so many words and so much information from all you guys, but Diane, we're going to start with you again. One word to wrap up the actions that we've just spoke about.
Partnerships. And partnerships just so happens to be SDG number 17. To me, there is a lot of talent and there are a lot of resources out there, and there's no reason why we need to go it alone.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that one-word answer. Ray, one word.
Commit.
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 Roberta.
Collaborate.
Lana.
Start.
Like it. All very good action-orientated words, which is what we're about. So I'd like to thank all of our panellists for their insights. Remember, you can watch this on YouTube, and if you've got a key takeaway, please put that into the comments and we will certainly comment back. Important issues, sustainability in business. So first of all, I'd like to thank General Manager at Green Design, Ray Borg. Business Advisor, Your Business Realm and Regional Director of Trusted Advisory Network, Lana Ratapu. Co-founder and Head of Research, Development and Innovation at Take 3 for the Sea, Roberta Dixon-Valk. And joining us, thanks again for our international visitor, Professor of Marketing at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, Dr. Diane Phillips. Once again, I'm Brendan Rogers, founder of the Culture of Leadership consultancy, podcast, and YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.